featuring songs from top to bottom that you're going to be exceptionally excited about. You probably heard a few already, and the official release date is September 2nd, but fans on the Rock and Roll channel on Talk Shop Live can purchase their copies now. And as a gift from the man himself, a limited number of copies have been personally signed by him. One of today's most important young artists, musically, lyrically, as a dynamic performer, and as an impactful spokesperson for his generation. Because of this gentleman, the future looks bright on so many fronts. Please welcome Mr. Dominic Harrison, otherwise known as Yungblud.
Hello, Steve, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for not falling asleep during that intro, man. I really appreciate that.
Man. I was fucking great, man. Better than some other people's, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, man. It's just stating the facts, and that was the reduced version. We could be here for about an hour citing all of your accomplishments. And I just want to remind the fans, if you have a comment or question for Dom, just put it in the chat function, and we'll get to as many as possible. So first, Dom, I want to commend you on the amazing work you did with that podcast. You weren't posing as a licensed therapist. You were allowing fans to share their candid thoughts and experiences. And the conversation that took place was therapeutic for so many young people out there.
I think that's it, man. I think like that was what Yungblud was about anyway. You know what I mean? I think like someone like me, I come from the north of England.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I felt quite unheard. You know what I mean? I felt really small in the world. The world felt really big to me, and I wanted to communicate with somebody, and that's why I started Yungblud. And that was, I mean, as everything evolved, the podcast was a true reflection of that. You know what I mean? I was like, all this is about is communicating, telling the fucking truth, because I think a lot of music for a long time has said nothing at all, and it's about time it said something.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. You've got some rock and roll royalty that agrees with you, man. They put their time in for sure, and they recognize what you're bringing to the table, and it's important work, man. Aside from the great music, and your messages through music also are this common thread of addressing the issues with young people, and in some cases, even your own experiences. We just had a guest by the name of Marcus King, who, younger artist and more on the blues front, and he's struggled with a number of things, and that's transferred into his music. It's a great forum. And I think most of you are going to find that's an overarching theme throughout the new album, Yungblud. So Dom, how long did it take to put this album together?
Wow. I mean, it was pretty mental. After the second album, Weird, went #1.
Yeah.
We had like kind of access to any fucking studio I wanted, any writers, any fucking collaborators, anything I wanted. And we were working at like Conway in LA and the Village and shit, and it was great. But it was so funny because I think when you're working in big studios, like, everyone can hear your fucking secrets.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people started coming into the room and being like, "Oh, you're doing that rock thing." I was like, "Fuck off! What do you mean I'm doing that rock?" You know what I mean? "Oh, you're doing the rock thing," and I was like, "I got to get out of here, man." And I went, as opposed in Hollywood, I went up to Glendale in Northern California with the flies and the heat.
Right.
So we started to properly take off, I would say, around July last year. So what is it now? And we delivered it in February. So it's probably about 6 months.
Got it. But I know exactly what you're saying. It's like these are works in progress. They're not meant to be heard until you've completed the process and you're ready to share it with people, right?
Nah, but that's what I'm saying. Everyone's a fucking, especially in Los Angeles, man. Everyone's a little poacher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They love commercializing. They love fucking commercializing shit. You know what I mean? In LA.
All right. Well, I'm taking a note. I'm going to send a message to Geffen to make sure we got security working the doors outside for the next album.
My man.
Yeah. So listen, I know you're an album fan, but when you record an album, do you kind of think about what the overarching vibe, message is going to be, to convey it as a body of work, or is it like a series of songs and you piece it together?
I'll tell you something. Since the beginning of my life, like, I grew up on bands. I grew up on David Bowie. I grew up on The Clash. I grew up on Madonna. I grew up on Lady Gaga. I grew up on Lou Reed, The Pistols, it needed to say something. It needed to be a journey. Yet what Bowie had, as opposed to the Pistols, was he had a catalogue where he would evolve and a story across the 30 years. So each record, it needs to be a different spectrum. It needs to be a different part of my life. It can't all sound the same. And I think with this one, I feel so lucky because I started music. Like, to anyone out there who's watching this, I don't know how many people are, and to anyone who knows me or to somebody who doesn't, I'll give you just kind of the lowdown about where it all started. It was like, all I wanted to do was find some mates, really.
Right.
Like that, fucking simply, Steve, man. Like, literally, I wanted to find some friends who would be a little bit like me, because I was over enthusiastic. I was loud. I was bratty. I wore makeup. I didn't want to define myself in terms of gender, in terms of sexuality. And a lot of people can think that's bollocks, but I meant it. I meant it with my whole fucking soul.
Right.
I meant it with my spirit, and no one was listening, and I wanted to fucking shout, and fucking someone shout back, and they finally did. And I think with this record, man, 3 records in, this sound reflects the feeling I get from the community that I've built.
Yeah.
That is bigger than I ever imagined. Do you know what I mean? We've literally just announced arena tours all over the world. And this album reflects the fire and the angst and the feeling of it all.
Yeah.
It's got this train sound. It's like from the funeral. Doesn't stop.
Absolutely.
Just keeps fucking going, man. You know what I mean?
You delivered it from top to bottom. I mean, every song is, it absolutely rock solid. And I don't mean that like it's an entire rock album. I mean, you kind of run the spectrum, but every song is, has a specific vibe musically. And again, lyrically, it seems like you've taken it to a whole nother level. You've got really important messages throughout this whole thing. But I got to ask you, are you a tortured soul when you've got to sequence the album? Now you've got all the songs together and you got to figure out, okay, how I mean, obviously the funeral to me was a no brainer as far as starting with that as the opening track, like you said.
Yeah,
but,
man, it feels like a riot, doesn't it? It feels like
it does.
It feels like good morning, wake up.
Yeah.
You're not aware you're gonna be now. You know what I mean? But I think no, this album, it really, normally I'm fucking pondering for weeks and months. This felt easy. I don't know why. I think this album felt so right and so pure and so easy to track and to formulate and to order. And I don't know, it was fucking, I think like it takes you on a journey. It needed to start fast, keep fast, dance, move, fight, cry, laugh, and then end emotional.
Yeah, it does hit all the cornucopias of emotion. Absolutely right. And I know you're super close to it, but that's just me independently listening to it. I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head. You were talking about, trying to get validation when you're first starting out, forming that band and the group of musicians. But again, I mean, you have people like Ozzy Osbourne, and all people think, well, Ozzy gave you words of wisdom. I think Ozzy is, stereotyped, but at the end of the day, he's a really smart guy, not to mention a funny bloke too. I mean, the guy's hilarious, but he gave you words of wisdom. And I know you also got great advice from people like Robert Smith of The Cure and Liam Gallagher, formerly of Oasis, of course, and even Avril Lavigne. A lot of artists, prolific artists, seem compelled to validate you and encourage you.
Pretty crazy, yeah, wild. Yeah. I am very, very honored. It's so cool. A song off the album called Tissues samples the beat from The Cure, Close to Me.
Yeah, that answers my question.
And dude, it was so fucking mental. Like Robert Smith's the reason why I wear eyeliner. You know what I mean? And my hair's is fucking wild. Do you know what I mean? I
Right.
mean, it's not right now. I'm chilling right now, but usually it's like, you know
Right.
what I mean? A lot more eyes on Robert Smith and Brian Molko, and to be able to just kind of even like like him to know who I am. You know what I mean? Let alone let me use one of the probably most iconic drum beats in fucking British music
Yeah.
for a record was a dream come true.
Again, validation, I think, to, you know, the artistry you bring to the table, and you took it to a whole nother level, man. You made it your own. And we're going to talk about that in a second, but let's go to the opening track. We touched on it, the initial single, rocks right out of the gate. As I said, man, I'll bet this one revs the crowd up when performed live, and fascinating lyrics. I think many envision, what happens, how do people respond when I move to the other side, but also see this is like self-evaluation and acceptance. And as the artist, what does this song mean to you, and what influenced it?
So this is the first song that came out of the record, right?
Right.
And with songs, man, I'm excited to talk to you because I don't have, you know what I mean? I can fucking really go into it. Like with records and with the sound of an album, you can't fucking chase it.
Right.
It's got to fall onto your fucking lap by accident, or that little bit of magic that happens. Like it's got to find you. You know what I mean? You're not like bit in Harry Potter when it's like the one chooses the wizard, Mr. fucking Potter. It's like the sound of an album chooses you.
Right.
I think if you're trying to formulate it, you're doing maths, and that ain't fucking music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing about this record, The Funeral, it has such with Yungblud is supposed to kick the fucking bear.
Right.
Yungblud is an act of defiance that fights for love. That's what I would kind of, if it was going to get defined in the dictionary.
Yeah.
And with this song, a lot of people, like as Yungblud got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the community got bigger, and the idea and the pressure and all whatever, etc., got bigger. I needed to just block out the opinions, because it was good. Like it started as a subculture. Yungblud was a subculture of surrounded by love and fucking unity and beauty and expression, and it grew and grew and grew. And then the mainstream starts to pay attention,
Right.
and then the darkness comes into it, and people start to question it and question its authenticity and everything. And I needed to kick back. And this song came out of a fire in my belly that was like, I'm going to own every single thing that I feel insecure about myself. And I'm going to put it in a 3-minute song. And it's going to fucking rock. And I feel like I'm being buried alive by the internet, by the world, by everyone's opinions right now. But
Yeah.
I'm at my fucking funeral. I'm going to dance at it.
Man, you nailed it. The video, by the way, is phenomenal as well.
Vibes, man. Uncle Ozzy and Nan Michelle.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tissues, we talked about that too, man. What an infectious song. Great lyric yet again. And I was going to say, man, I see Robert Smith of The Cure thinking, I wish I had this song in The Cure arsenal, but it turns out it was partly in The Cure arsenal. I didn't pick up on the beat, but now it's so clear. But again, it's not like it's plagiarism, man. You just captured the spirit off that beat and made it your own.
Yeah, man, we just sampled it. That was it. It was like,
Yeah.
it was fully just like, it's crazy. It actually comes out in like 12 hours. It's coming out a couple of days before the record.
Oh, great.
So yeah, make sure you fucking give it a listen tonight if you're watching. And it was like, this song is literally a reflection of the moment before you give yourself to somebody, in love, in friendship, in an idea. It's like that hesitation. Am I gonna be loved here, or am I gonna be hurt? And it has every emotion wrapped within it: happiness, sadness, nervousness, excitement. I think that was a real big reflection of new wave music and what I loved listening to: the Smiths, The Cure, Joy Division, Placebo. You know.
Yeah. Yep. I'll tell you what. Again, man, track by track, man, it just keeps building memories. You continue to deliver, no pun intended, but memorable melodies, great musical accompaniment. And again, the lyrics speak to many. Great contribution as well from Willow.
Willow's a legend, man.
Yeah.
Willow is fully just a fucking legend. A true artist, for better or worse, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't know what she's gonna do on the day, but she's a fucking riot and got so much to say. She reminds me a lot of Amy Winehouse, and
Right.
people might give me fucking bollocks for that, but I don't care because Amy was so truthful
Right.
and so spiritual and so fucking real.
Yeah.
I promise you, like, step into a studio with Willow Smith and tell me I'm wrong.
I was going to use a common thread. Yeah, it was, is their spirit. You're exactly right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like if people like are doubting me right now, step into a studio with her and tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not.
You're not hearing that from me, my friend. I completely agree with you. Let's go to the fans, man. It's like Jessica wants to know. Let's see if I can capture this now. Yeah, here we go. Well, Meg wants to know if there's any chance that these things keep moving on us, that we'll get a repeat collab with. Okay, well, that's not working out so well. Sorry, brother. Hang on, we got technical difficulties here.
Oh, good man, vibing.
Yeah, so here we go. Olivia wants to know any more collaborations with others. Obviously, you just did. You know, you had Willow sit in on this with you. You had the one with our good friend from Imagine Dragons, which was killer. Do you ever envision artists that you want to work with?
There is collaborations coming on
Oh, great.
the initial state of the record. There's not, but the record will grow over the next 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Watch, like, there's collaborations lined up. Thing about it is, I think the beauty right now is how do you make a record grow? Because in the age of a trend, everything's like done and over within a week, and it's like not with this one. It deserves to grow. I'm going to add more songs and add more versions of songs. It's going to be beautiful.
Absolutely. Madison says you're going to be on Demi Lovato's new album. What was that collab process like?
It's cool, man. As I say, she wanted to do rock music, and that anyone
Yeah.
that's fucking wanting to do rock music or try. She's like, I'd love you to be on this. I was like, all right, cool, I'm down.
Niella wants to know any updates on EMA safety pins.
They're on the way. I literally like, you know, it all takes a long time to fucking basically. I won an EMA and I melted my award down. I turned it into safety pins and I picked 150 fans and I'm sending them out to you. But it's like it takes a fucking long time, and I promise you, I ain't capping here. To melt down an EMA and it's all bollocks, bro. It's like, 'cause it's not like the official shape or the right metal and shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Niam wants to know, do you have a favorite Bowie album?
I would definitely say the thing for me, man, about Bowie is the beauty about it is, right, an artist like Bowie is that his first 2 albums, nobody fucking paid attention.
Yeah.
Right. And the spirit of him wasn't really reflected, in my opinion, right?
Yep.
Until the rise and fall of Ziggy outside the picture outside the K West Hotel.
Yeah. Yep.
But then I also love like Let's Dance and Hunky Dory and fucking, but even like Black Star, like who the fuck leaves this planet and goes, here I am looking over you?
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
It's the most Bowie thing in the fucking world.
You're exactly right. And I don't know how you can select one singular album from him. As you said, the man continued to evolve. He was absolutely against just repeating what he had already accomplished, for sure. So, hey, listen, let's just remind everyone, fans, it's been 2 years since the last album, Weird, and I can assure you it's been well worth the wait. Yungblud has delivered a great new album entitled, interestingly enough, Yungblud. From start to finish, the album delivers 12 amazing tracks. The album officially releases this Friday, September 2nd, but fans on the Rock and Roll channel on Talk Shop Live can purchase their copy now. And as a special thank you from none other than Yungblud, he has graciously agreed to personally autograph copies. You'll not only own this great new album, but you'll own a piece of history, because Yungblud is one of the most important artists today, and I guarantee you he will be so for years to come. Just hit that buy button. The rest is easy, quick, and painless. Thank you for your continued support with Yungblud and his musical art. So, Cruel Kids, another powerful message, at least my interpretation. Social and cyberbullying going out of control. Did I get part of that right? It feels like this song will touch many that that go up against this.
I think the thing about it is the world has become such an angry place in the past 5 years. You know what I mean? It really has. And I just want to say to anybody out there, it's just like, hate is only a mirror, and they will only be cruel to you because they're confused.
Right.
I think the most beautiful thing in the world is expression and individuality. Like if you are out there and you're feeling fucking frightened for being literally yourself.
Yep.
The most beautiful thing in the world you can be is you. I know it sounds like soppy and strange, but I promise you, like, by meeting you all, you taught me that.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is as they fucking judge you, as they manipulate you to try and change, they are terrified, because they'll never be able to obtain a level of creativity or imagination that you have. So if they've been cruel to you, you know what I mean, they're the bad guy, you know what I mean, and you got to rise above it. And I think that's why I wrote this song. I think, like, I was really heavily inspired by Radiohead and Kid A. Right.
Great album.
On this record, with the reverse snares, the reverse sounds, and a truly beautiful album that made me.
So I have to,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to say you're only 24, right? I don't mean only 24, but man,
Just turned 25 last week.
Oh, congratulations and happy birthday. I should have done my homework, man. I'm a week behind in my stats. I apologize.
Oh, no, don't worry about vibing, man.
But listen, you are wise beyond your years. I speak from experience. And I know you've gone through some things yourself, and you let that out in the lyrics and the music. But, people need to hear this, especially now. As you said, man, these are troubled times, and there's a lot of anger out there. So I don't think it's soppy. I think, the message is needed, and very thankful that you're delivering it. Mad, by the way, another strong message, internal conflict and evaluation that one goes through. And I love the lyric, paint these pictures that musically could lend itself to slower tempoed songs. But yet you deliver upbeat music with serious lyrical statements. I think the combination is great, and uniquely you.
I think that, yeah, the thing about Mad is it was like, I didn't want an answer I didn't want a fucking resolution. I just wanted to be like, I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm unleash that in a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to snap in a song. I
It's
didn't
great
want
therapy,
to.
isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't want to fucking answer. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't want a meaning behind how I was feeling. I was just like, yo, I'm going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So ever felt, you know what I mean? I was like, has anyone felt like that? It's like, I just want going fucking mental.
Right.
I just personified it in the record. 2 minutes, bang, up tempo, let's go.
Great track for sure. You announced the new album and stated, you've provided me with an antidote for the emptiness and loneliness I felt in the past, and you've given me a voice. So here's my story. Again, this album delivers that. But you also live streamed the act of receiving a tattoo on your rib cage. Now, I'm still feeling the pain watching that activity, Dom. I got to tell you, man, hats off to you. The action, the message was of great importance to you. Could you share that with those that didn't see this live stream? What was behind the message and what the message was?
Yeah, so basically it as the record kind of came out and got announced and was written and was formulated, it was like in my head, I looked in the mirror, I was like, what sums this album up?
Yeah.
Not fucking like what sums me up right now. The world, the internet, the fucking everyone had an opinion on me. Everyone had something to say about me. And I just needed to look in the mirror and look at myself and go, what the fuck defines you? What defines you? What makes you who you are in this moment? And everything I put on my ribcage, there's a million more things that define me and define Yungblud. But in that moment, that was it. And I wanted to tattoo it on my body. And I wanted to be able to look at it every morning and just know that that's who I am and that's what I stand for and that's what I mean and that's what I say. And I heard basically the inspiration on the ribcage came from Queens of the Stone Age, played a show in London. And apparently it's the worst show they'd ever played.
No kidding.
So they tattooed at the O2. So they tattooed the date of the gig they ever played on the ribcage because it was so painful.
No
Apparently
kidding.
the ribs, the palms of your hand and the palms of your feet are the most painful place to get tattooed.
Yeah. Had not heard that story, but I encourage people that to look this one up. I mean, it's quite an experience and a great message. I cry too, Dom. Love this one. I know it's redundant. I keep saying this over and over again, but I mean, this one feels like it's a combination of storytelling and perhaps a bit autobiographical.
For this song is a thought more than a song.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's like it seems so different for me instrumentally, but it's actually like the shit I was making on you feel sad.
You're out in the UK right now, right? It's about 5 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
So, man, I know you've had a long day, man. We really appreciate you being here. Here's again from some of the fans. Jessica says, I'm absolutely ecstatic for the new album. You've been nonstop performing what seems like forever. You plan on coming back to the USA soon. And I know you're doing a signing, but you just mentioned you're going to be doing an arena date. So any clue as to when we'll find out when and where those dates will be?
It's stay tuned, man. Next couple of weeks, promise
Outstanding.
you.
Outstanding. Axel wants to know, would you ever do a collab with Bad Flower?
Bad Flower. I know those boys. I haven't really hung out with them a lot, but I'm down to hang out with him. Yeah, I always want to. I always want to know people before I collaborate with them. But I'd be down to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I met him in Indiana once.
Sounds good. Carolita wants to know um, how you're feeling right now, and have you been sleeping well? It seems like you're certainly more centered, right? That you've really been seeking answers, and you're really seem to be finding a number of them. How you feeling right now?
I mean, fully like we came back from Japan 2 days ago and went via Paris and here, and then we go to the US.
Wow.
So I'm a bit fucked up, like tight sleep schedule wise, but I'm all right. I'm a bit like, so like, forgive me if I'm a bit slow today, but I'm like, I think when I'm like jet lagged, Brian Molko said something beautiful to me. He said, every time zone you pass, a little bit of your soul gets lost, gets left behind in the air.
Yeah.
So that's why you get jet lag. It's like catching you up. And I thought that was so fucking beautiful. And he said
Yeah.
that.
It absolutely makes sense for sure. Ashley says happy belated birthday.
Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah. And Amelia wants to know when your next meet and greet is in the US.
My next meet and greet is next week. I'm going across America. If you're in America right now, I'm going across 9 cities, 5 days, doing signings across America and acoustic intimate shows. Crazy.
Yeah. We love independent record shops too, man. And that's what you're doing, which is amazing. I know you love them too. One of my favorites, good friend of mine, Waterloo in Austin, Texas.
Hell yeah. Thing about it is, it's like as everything gets bigger, I just want to stay connected to everyone.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Absolutely right. And we appreciate that. And fans, just want to remind you, it's been 2 years since the last album, and it's been well worth the wait. Yungblud has delivered a great new album entitled Yungblud, and from start to finish, the album delivers 12 amazing new tracks. The album officially releases September 2nd. That's this Friday. But fans on the Rock and Roll Channel and Talk Shop Live can purchase a copy now. And as a special thank you from none other than Yungblud himself, he's graciously agreed to personally autograph copies. So not only is he a little jet lagged, but he's probably suffering from a slight arthritic condition from signing all those
I know.
CDs.
I think we've done about. I've signed about 40,000 albums. To be honest, it's been crazy.
Unbelievable. I don't know how you do it, but thank you for doing that. And again, this gentleman is one of the most important artists today and will be for years to come. So just hit that buy button on your screen. The rest is easy, quick, and painless. And thank you again for continued support of Yungblud and his musical art. Sweet Heroine, creative play on words, one of my favorites. If we're categorizing more of a ballad, but to me, but beautiful song. And for the record, even though I know critics or people won't take the time to do their homework, heroin is spelled Heroine. Okay, but Dom, I'm sure you're going to get pegged for promoting drugs, but great play on words, man.
Oh,
Again,
that's the vibe, man. It's like,
yeah,
I love it. It feels so Britpop, this record.
yeah.
It feels like the Verve or Oasis. And I wrote this song about, it feels really warm. I wrote this song about a person that really pulled me out of a traumatic place in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She felt like alcohol. She felt like drugs. She felt like fucking skinning up a spliff. But she wasn't hurting me. She was helping me.
Right.
And this song came out at 10 in the morning. And I remember I was in London. And it was 10 in the morning. I'd been up all night. And the cleaners were coming at the studio.
Is that right?
Morning, and they were cleaning and fucking around me. I was like, girls, gotta give me a second. And they were like, what? I was like, they were like, it's a shithole. It's like McDonald's and fucking candles and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, promise you, give me a second. Go home, come back later. And then they came back at 5 and I'd finished it and I'd stayed up all night and all day and finished Sweet Heroine that day. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What do you think? And she was, and they cried. They loved it.
That's great. And so at least you know you got peace of mind. They weren't there to try to steal your musical ideas.
Oh, they were vibing, man. They were just shaking their hips, man. Oh, great whistle test, innit?
Oh, is that great? Yeah, love the track for sure. Sex, Not Violence. You know, it seems like there's always been this thing where the UK is more open historically about the body and unabashedly acknowledging it's all part of life. But here in the States, we historically mask that. However, in our movies, we apparently sure love our violence. So, it's ironic. But again, another great track. Tell us about the vibe and the thought behind
I
Sex,
think
Not Violence.
that's it. I think with this record, man, with this song, everyone's so angry right now, and there's such a so much complex oppression going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I thought there was something so simply powerful about sex. I fucking love sex. I love the idea of it. I love studying it. I love having it. I love being around it. It's like the energy, the empowerment, the trust, the beauty, the magic within it. Between two people, three people, four people, whatever you're fucking into. I thought there was so much power in that. I thought there was a lot of power in sex can save the world, and sex can dominate, love can dominate over hate. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. And to me, I think that's just transitioning the old 60s phrase, make love, not war. Right.
In it, man.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Absolutely. Man, I love your background. You touched on it, bands like The Clash, The Beatles, Bob Dylan, but some people have already heard this, but I got to ask you, what did the song Taxman from the Beatles Revolver mean to you, and what did it
Oh
trigger?
man, yeah, my granddad used to play this. I mean, this album, bro. I remember the white cover. I remember it like there's that weird fucking almost sketch of John Lennon with straw hair on the front. You know what I mean? Of that
Right.
album. And I remember just you know, I mean, you don't forget those records, and it like dum 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 dum. You know what I mean? Like when he'd put it on, he'd put the vinyl on, and we'd vibe out. And when you're a kid, you don't forget that shit. It was just a feeling. You're the text man. Yeah, I'm the text man. Boom, bap, boom, bap, bap, boom, bap. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yep.
I would just never forget that. I'd be like, oh, I'm at granddad's house.
That's so great. And, I mean, that just shows, I mean, regardless of when music was recorded, great music stands the test of time. I predict this album will prove that as well, for sure, because it sounds timeless. And trust me, I've been around long enough to see a lot of artists come and go. But again, great music will always stick for sure. So don't go. Brilliant song, infectious. Cannot shake this one out of my head, man. Some great